here today, and we do we have Jeremy Airy with us this afternoon, or will he be here?
Should be here momentarily.
Okay, and of course you know my policy analyst Leo Chansey and legislative aide Max Doss. Okay, we do have a quorum, so we can conduct business, and we're going to go a little bit out of order, and I'm going to call on Representative Winfred Dukes to present Senate Bill 93. If you would.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members of the committee, I come before you today to present to you Senate Bill 93. Since what all is done is asking for the bill to accumulate funds to move the election to a nonpartisan election. And if there is no questions, I have consideration of this matter.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments from the committee? Okay. Which one's okay? I'd call on Representative Bentley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Dukes, thank you for presenting this, but I'm just curious to know, were you required to submit a notice to the newspaper, the local newspaper, notifying the residents of that area of this request?
Yes, we were. And what I'm waiting for is a resolution and a letter from the county commission, the school board, and the city commission also requesting this thing.
Oh, they are? Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Representative Alexander Waves. Do we have any other questions or comments by the committee? If I hear none, I would entertain a motion. I have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, your bill gets a due pass. All right, going back to the agenda, at this time I would call on Representative Jones of the 167th District for House Bill 437. Which one? Would you mind just speaking to the microphone? You could sit in that chair and we'll be better able to hear
Madam
you.
Chairman, you are in charge.
Okay. Okay. If you would talk to us a little bit about your request for nonpartisan
Thank you, Madam
election.
Chairman, and thank you, committee members. I know we're all ready to get out of here and get home, but this is an important piece of legislation to our local community. This is a piece of local legislation, House Bill 437. Bill has a very brief history. The Brunswick-Glenn County Joint Water Sewer Commission was formed back in 2006. It has undergone a couple changes and some growth over the last few years, to the point where the commission has asked that our local delegation agree and proceeded with a couple changes, all really very minor in terms of the way the commission is structured. And I might add that our entire local delegation, both representatives and our senator, have agreed with this bill as presented. We did file the notice in the newspaper. It was all filed duly, properly, and such, and that is on record. Very simply, this bill has a name change, just being shortened from the Brunswick-Glenn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission to the Brunswick-Glenn County Water Sewer Commission. That's simple. The second part of the bill just outlines the authority of the commission regarding contracts that they may let, about being sued, their personal liability as committee members, that type of thing. And the fourth section, which is probably the third change, which is probably the most substantive, outlines a bit of a change in the makeup of the commission. The commission, as proposed, is going to consist of 7 members. That will be 5 citizen members who are going to serve on the commission, and the grand jury of Glenn County is going to select 3 of those members, and the other 2 will be voted on by the community. The additional 2 members will be appointed by the county and city authorities. They will each have 1 representative on the commission for a total of 7. And those are the extent of the changes.
Thank you, Representative Jones. At this time, do we have any questions or comments from the committee members? Okay. Representative Alexander?
I'm just curious. why exactly for them to be nonpartisan? Most of these, I guess, a position of a joint water and sewer commission would be appointed. So why these are elected positions?
The, again, makeup is going to be a total of 7 members, 2 of which are going to be appointed, one by the city commission and one by the county commission. And as this commission has been in operation now since 2006, we're trying to avoid the politics that have somewhat entered into the appointment and the selection of the folks that were on this commission. So it was agreed after considerable local debate that 5 of the members should be appointed by a grand jury in order to make that selection entirely independent. And then 2 will be elected by the electors of the community. Again, we had some more politics involved with this commission than it was the intent of the commission, and this is an attempt to take politics out of that and just deal effectively and accurately and quickly with water and sewer issues for the community.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no further comments or questions, I will accept a motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Next, we have Representative John Corbett, House Bill 517, and it's Eccles County, a bill to provide for nonpartisan elections of the members of the Board of Education of Eccles County.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Like you said, this Bill 517, and all it is to provide for nonpartisan election of the school board. We have a unanimous resolution from the board, 5-0, in favor of doing this. We advertised in the paper. I have had no calls against it or for it, for that matter. So, and I am the sole representative for the county. And at this time, I ask for your favorable consideration, and with a move do pass.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I would accept a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Okay, well, I think we can just be at ease for a few minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How could I have forgotten you? Okay, Representative Caldwell.
Easily forgotten, Madam Chair.
You were just over there so quietly. You weren't at the table. If you would please come forward and present House Bill 343. This is a bill to provide for the nonpartisan elections of the members of the Board of Education of Lamar County.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, the Board of Education in Lamar County called me back in the summer and asked if I would introduce legislation to make their board nonpartisan. My first request was I will consider it if you get me a resolution from all members of your board, which they did, which I have with me. It has been properly advertised. It was advertised this past January for more than 2 weeks. Actually, they ran it 4 weeks in the local newspaper. There has been no opposition to it. Representative Knight, who is the other representative that represents a part of Lamar County, has also signed on to this. It doesn't change any districts, doesn't change any present positions. Just in the future, when they're elected, as those positions come open, they will become nonpartisan instead of partisan election. That's all the bill does.
Thank you, Representative. Do we have any questions or comments from the committee? Okay, hearing none, at this time I will accept a motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you, members of the committee.
Appreciate that.
I have a question not relating to this bill.
Let me turn your mic on. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see that, Patty. Excuse me. Okay, Representative.
And maybe it's really on the bill we passed, the House Bill 437. And maybe Leo knows the answer. Section 4, line 40, 57, and 60. It says that the commission is continuing.
Put your mic down here.
Oh,
Yeah, your
sorry.
mic's.
The commission is continued, but on or after January 1st, 2013, the commission shall consist. Is that correct?
Say the lines one more
She's
time.
number 3.
Okay.
Number 3. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's lines 40 is the first one on page 2. Is that January 1st, 2013, correct? And it's also on lines 57 and line 60 and line 78 that they were getting their terms on January 1st, 2013. I did not know if that was a typo. And on line 83, it speaks to a statewide general election in 2012.
Would you please, Jeremy?
That's fine. So this stack was already in existence.
Yeah.
And they were just revising what's there. You can't see we don't do strike throughs and underscoring and local bills. So we just put in what was already there and then made a few changes. But we didn't want to. So this was done in probably 2012 or 2013. And it set them up for the general election 2012. And then every 4 years thereafter, they're continued. So we just didn't change those dates. It doesn't change the makeup of the board or anything at all.
So in 2012, there was the grand jurors appointing people.
What do you mean? On line 8283?
On lines 54 through 58. Okay. Well, maybe I just don't know what the new information is.
I'm going to let Leo address one section of this bill.
And Jeremy, if I'm correct, I mean, line 91, it says commencing with the 2016 elections. Is it basically saying that after that's when the nonpartisan elections will take place?
Right.
Okay.
And that was our primary focus. Okay.
Was this it for, is this how it's
That was the change.
worded, or is it, I guess, is this the actual bill that's going to get voted in?
The change was nonpartisan for the
Yeah,
two
that's the only-
members,
yeah.
right? That was the
Yes,
only change.
That's the only
The
change.
others
And
would
that-
have.
That's all we're
that should have
dealing
been
with
that
is
would
the
have been
nonpartisan.
underlined.
Thank you.
That was confusing.
Thank you, it was.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we have one last agenda item. Does anyone know if Chairman Willard? Okay. He did, I believe he did have a meeting. Jeremy, would it, pardon me? Would it serve us for you to address the substitute, even if he doesn't make it to our meeting and we have to adjourn, or do you want to just?
I have no problem, and I won't put it in the news unless the committee is actually interested. But there's this sort of obscure jurisprudence.
Yeah, come up to the mic. Yeah, that would be helpful. No, thank you for.
Can you hear me now? Is that any better? I don't want to get too close. Like I was saying, it's fairly obscure. Started with common law, and now there's a line of cases that basically says that when you have an act that repeals an act, and then you later come back in and repeal the act that repealed the first act, that revives the first act that was repealed. It's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit odd, but it does make some sort of logical sense, or at least it used to. The Population Act that we're repealing here repealed a former Population Act, and so there was concern from me that we might be unwittingly reviving that very first Population Act from the 1930s. No one wants to do that, so just out of an abundance of caution, we added in the sub, I think, new section 2 that just clarifies and says it's not the legislative intent to revive that past act. The odds of that actually being a problem, very, very low, but this was an easy fix. And we didn't want to have somebody challenge. So that was why we put that in. I believe Chairman Willard is all for it, but I guess he'll come and speak later. So that's the gist of it. If anybody wants any more detail, feel free to come talk to me in person, but I'm sure most of the committees are already pretty bored. So that's the reason for it. Make sense?
It does, and thank you for that clarification. Since we know that Chairman Willard is in a meeting, and if the committee members feel comfortable, it's my understanding that we could vote on his bill with your explanation and move
I don't have a
forward.
problem with that. Do your committee rules say that the sponsor of the bill has to present it? Because if not, then yeah, there's no problem with that. It doesn't?
I
They're
don't.
saying
I
no,
think
so-
it's up. I don't think it does specify.
Right, then, sure, just make sure if you're, want to work off the substitute, that that's what you're making any motion for.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments from the committee members? Any further clarification needed? And if not, and it's Jeremy.
Actually, I might just say real quick, remember, Joe Schroyer came and talked to you guys about Population X?
Yes, he did.
And just recommended caution.
Yes.
Because there are some ripple effects. Ultimately, that's up to the member proposing it, but just wanted to let you guys, maybe remind you guys of that. So that was it.
Okay. If you would like to pause just for a few minutes, and we can give Leo an opportunity to at least touch base with him. But if that's agreeable with this committee and it's agreeable with him, I would, we can call for a motion. Is that okay with the committee? Brooks, you have, please.
If the committee is agreeable, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and act on the bill with the understanding that council will touch base with the author of the bill, and if council sees any problems, that we'll refer it back to the committee for further action.
Thank you. And you're making that
And
motion.
that's leaving it on to you to get with him, with the chair, of course. The chair will be there, and with y'all. And if they see any problem, that'll be referred back and won't move forward. That's my recommendation. That we pass it as recommended, with the understanding after council and Madam Chair meet with the author. If they find anything they think is right, they throw it right back to us.
Okay.
Does that include the substitute?
That is the substitute. That's the substitute.
In other words,
That's
we're
what we're
working
doing.
on the substitute, I understand. Is that correct? Yeah, we're working on LC 400887S, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would accept a motion for due pass with the substitute, for the substitute.
With that understanding. I make
With
that
that
motion.
understanding. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions or comments? If not, all those in favor?
And here he was.
Oh, we were passing your bill.
Please keep your seat.
We voted that you're going to buy us dinner tonight.
Maybe tonight or 2 nights.
Chairman Willard, let me just catch you up. We did, if you would sit right there with the microphone. Yeah, you're in the middle of our vote to do pass on your bill.
Let me hold you up.
We did have Jeremy Airy explain the substitute. If there's anything further you'd like to say, we were in the process, we had a due pass.
Just to say that this
motion.
is the only county that's had this general legislation which addresses how you do budgeting and appropriations, and it really should be in the ordinances of the county as opposed to this law. It goes back to 53, and we've all agreed it needs to come out.
Thank you, Chairman. And we do have a motion and a second. And if it's all right with you, we won't repeat that. And we didn't have any further questions. So all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, we do have a due pass. You're welcome. Thank you.
Dinner at 7.
That's right, go to dinner. I got some leftover biscuits. Chick-fil-A.
Thank you all for your attendance. A meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair.